Welcome to Thez Nutz Garage, and today we're back out here working on the 1978 F350, and what we're going to be doing today is prepping this frame for POR15. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to discuss the steps that we're going to take to get to prep the frame for the POR15. And the first step that I'm going to do is just basically getting the frame clean. Not stripping the frame, just cleaning it off of the dirt and the years of grime and cake that's kind of accumulated on it. And the first step that I'm going to do is using my oven cleaner. Now when you're dealing with oven cleaner and any of these degreasers or metal prep, all of this stuff, you need to wear proper protection. For your eyes, your mouth, and your hands. Especially this oven cleaner, that stuff's pretty stout. I'm just going to spray it on, and then I'm not going to be touching the frame while it's on it. Once it's been on there about 15 minutes, I'm going to spray it off with a pressure washer, and I'm going to move on to my purple power. I'm going to put that in a spray bottle, soak the whole entire frame down, and then I have a variety of brushes that I'm going to use just to roughly clean the frame. I'm not trying to strip any of the rust off. I'm just trying to get all the dirt and the grime off of it to expose any rust that I may have in different places. Now once that's done, the next step is going to be, I'll call it step 2, is using my wire brushes with my grinder and getting in there and starting to remove all the big pieces of rust, trying to get it down to as much of the metal as I can get to. Now I may use a grinder with a wire brush, a drill wire brush, hand wire brushes. I may even use a small sand blaster to get into certain places that if I can't get to with the brushes. But once that's done and I have most of the frame stripped down with those tools, I'll move into the step 3, and that's going to be using the POR15 products. The one here in the green label, that is a heavy degreaser. Now I'm assuming that it's better than this purple power, but I think the mixing ratio is 1:1 on that. And then after that is the metal prep. As I get into those two products, there'll be parts of the video just dedicated to those. But once we use these products, we'll have our frame prepped and ready to apply our POR15. Now here's my oven cleaner. Now something about oven cleaner, it can remove paint. So make sure if you're doing this in a area you have maybe like over here to my side, I have my cab of my truck. I don't really want to get too much of that on there and just let it sit, because it can remove your paint on your vehicle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray this down real quick all over the frame and let it sit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse off the frame with this pressure washer. So let's get started. Now something that I wanted to show you here is when I was pressure washing this, like I said, the oven cleaner can remove your paint, so you have to be real careful when you're using this stuff. You don't want to put it on anything you don't want to have the paint removed, because it can remove it. This area here, I had some white basic primer on it. It just ate that off pretty good. But like in this area here, down here on this cross member, it peeled the paint off of that pretty easily. So just if you wanted to keep using that, I guess you could just keep spraying it on your frame and it would help eat the paint away if you wanted to do that. Now this over here, this black, this here and there, that was some other primer that I had just laying around, and when I was testing cleaning it, I just sprayed that primer on it just to kind of keep it protected. And you can see that it did remove some on this side. So I just wanted to show you that oven cleaner can remove the paint, and this was actually, I guess, a coating on this frame. So I want to get back to pressure washing this down and Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my purple power, I have that in a spray bottle. I'm just going to soak down the frame with it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work in sections, clean them and scrub them, and move along to the back of the frame. There is one thing that you probably won't see me do in this video is when I flip this frame over upside down and basically do what I'm doing now, cleaning the underside of it, because in some of these areas there's quite a bit of dirt, grease up under the underside, and I want to make sure I get all of that clean, so that way when I put my POR15, I can do the top side of the frame, the bottom of the frame, inside the frame, everywhere on the frame. I want to get it covered, and I want to get it covered properly. So I'm going to jump on here and start cleaning the frame with the purple power. Now I've got most of the frame with the oven cleaner put on it and cleaned. I've got the purple power put on it. What I've done now is I've flipped over my frame. I said you wouldn't get to see this, but what I'm going to do is just show you real quick. Pretty much I've cleaned everything except for the bottom sides of some stuff, and this just make it easier if I flip this frame over. And I'm going to show you why it's important to do this. If you're going to take the time to disassemble your frame of your truck, you might as well flip it over and get everything that's on the underside of it cleaned. Alright, so as I got this frame flipped over, there was a reason why I done this, is so I can get in here into these spots like this right here. There's a lot of grease, dirt built up. There's also a lot of grease and dirt built up along this cross member. It'll also allow me, by having it flipped upside down, to get into some of these places a little easier. But here, this is where the cab mounts to it. I'll be able to clean this up a little bit easier. I also have some of the stuff along, which this would have been the bottom of the top of the frame. I can clean that up a little bit more. You can still see there's some dirt coming along the back. Some other spots that I'll be able to get to a little bit easier inside of this. This is another cross member. This is where your transmission mounts to. And you can see there's still some back in here. So it's just flipping it over like this will allow me to get into some places that I couldn't get to. I guess I could, but it just been a little bit harder. It's just easier this way. So I've been cleaning at this pretty hard. I still have a lot to go. You can tell this is a lot better. Still have a little bit to go on it. I still have several more steps. I think after this I have 2 more steps before I can actually apply my POR15. Alright, well that's going to be a wrap for this video, this part. There'll be 3 probably installments of this, prepping for the POR15. The next step is going to be to start sanding it and grinding it and cleaning up all the rust as much as I can. And then the step after that will be actually doing using the POR15 products. And then I guess the 4th part would be actually applying the POR15. And I have a question. I'm thinking about either putting a chassis black paint on it, or maybe using a bed liner material like I did under the cab. That way it's kind of rock proof and things of that nature. So tell me what you think. Should I use the paint or should I use the bed liner? I'm kind of torn between that, so I'd appreciate your opinion. Just comment down below, and y'all have a blessed day.